We officially finished the pack a day for 15 days, and I want to do a quick kind of recap of the experience and whether or not I think it was worth the cost of the $30 for the overall bundle. Out of all the cards, most of them, of course, were common, and I don't think we'd expect anything different from that, but there were a lot of cool and unique cards, especially when the years spanned from 1988 all the way to 1991. And my favorites ended up being a lot of the score ones. It was around this time where they started doing a lot more special one-off cards, kind of like this one here, this Doc Gooden from 91 Score, along with, a no-hit club, some of the Dream Team stuff, and the black and white photos here. Score was actually really good in trying to do something different and presenting something different for their collectors. Even though a lot of them don't hold a lot of value now, I think they make for a great collection. Just not a very high dollar return. So I initially bought this collection off of Amazon for about $30. Ends up being close to about 300 cards. And out of all this, if I was to add up the cost of each individual card, even the 10-cent ones, you'd probably get pretty close to recovering that $30. But that's not a realistic way of looking at value. So the book value on a lot of these might come out close to 30, but you probably would not be able to sell most of these cards to recoup that entire amount. So out of all these cards are probably worth about the most in terms of book value. I'm not sure what I would actually be able to sell them for on the market. Probably not much more than a $1.50 to $3 a piece, except for maybe one or two specific ones. So this Mark Lewis and a couple of these Diamond Kings are anywhere between about $1.50 and $3. If you're able to collect pretty much the entire set of Diamond Kings from 1988 Donruss, that'd probably be a pretty good collection that together would warrant a lot more. Individually, not a whole lot. So I'm just going to move those out of the way. So some of the more valuable cards are some of these. So the 1988 Score, Tony Gwynn, and the 88 Score, Nolan Ryan, can both probably fetch, as a base card, probably about $3 a piece. These cards, depending on the condition, which they are in pretty good condition, I'm not sure if they're a Gem 10, but getting these two graded, especially since they're two Hall of Famers, they actually might be worth getting graded, hopefully 9 or above, and then holding on to. So that could actually make it somewhat worth it in terms of my return investment. Besides the fact that I really like the cards and I really like the players. 88 Score was the first year that Score was released as a baseball card and really introduced some more high quality photography with the baseball card sets. So I really like these two cards. Now the last two I'm going to show, one of them is not entirely worth a whole lot, but I actually think there's some more sentimental value that might warrant a little bit of a higher return on investment here. This U.S. flag card from 91 Score should actually be pretty sentimental to a lot of people, mainly because it was created as kind of an acknowledgement of Operation Desert Storm. Now, if you're older than about 35, you actually might remember this. I'm actually quite a bit older than 35, so I remember this pretty clearly. And Operation Desert Storm, it was our first real, how do I put it? Desert Storm kind of solidified a presence for us in the Middle East, pretty pivotal in U.S. history. Like I said, there's a lot of sentimental value between that notion, behind that notion. And I actually think I'm going to get this graded. I think this should be preserved in a way, even regardless of financial value. I think that it deserves to be preserved and graded that way. So I will probably do that. And the backside being just as important as the front. So I'm not intending for any kind of real political statement, but this is a part of history and acknowledgement of something kind of important in our history. So while the price guide value may not be very high, the sentimental value is, and I think that makes it worthwhile. Now, the last card I'll show is the one that actually probably has the highest book value at $6.50. I'm not 100% sure why. I mean, I know that John Norton was considered a good player, and Scott Leyes, I'm not even really sure. I don't even remember him as a player in the 1990s. I'm not entirely sure why it has a higher dollar value It just simply does. I'm not sure if that makes it worth getting graded. I don't think so. I don't think this card has a lot of value beyond that, but I know a lot of you that might watch this might have a different take on this, and I would love to hear it. I mentioned in one of my previous videos that I'm still kind of getting back into the collector game. I collected years ago. I haven't picked up cards in about 30 years, and I'm trying to relearn because the collecting market definitely has changed, and what's considered valuable and worth holding on to has also changed. So I'm willing to learn. Hopefully, you'll be willing to provide some feedback. Otherwise, that completely wraps up our pack a day for 15 days. We have a lot of other content coming up, so make sure to kind of tune in. And if you're watching all the way to the end, thank you. I appreciate it. Subscribe, and we'll be back again soon. Thanks.